JD here on Saturday afternoon. I posted something yesterday. A good client of mine, a good mate and client of mine, Mark Battersby, was up on the Gold Coast, and he was giving, I guess a good example of sampling. One of my favourite sort of wow factor marketing techniques that I tell people is to just sample. If you've got a coffee shop, then put little shot glasses of paper cups of coffee and put it outside the restaurant. If you are sampling health and wellbeing products, then give people a sample. Well, sorry, if you're selling health and wellbeing products, give people a sample outside your shop, and so on and so forth. It's all about sampling. And I've got to show you what we did yesterday. This is Mark Battersby here. Okay, and he was showing us a particular product that he's got in a homewares store down in Adelaide, and what it is a cute little puppet. That's not a real possum, by the way. That's a cute little puppet. And what Mark was explaining to us in that video yesterday was that this thing is just nuts. Everyone thinks it's real. These ladies were in a restaurant, a cafe on the Gold Coast. They couldn't believe it. We stopped crowds in the street, by the way. And he said he's doing this at his furniture and homeware store in Adelaide and just selling out of this little puppet. This girl came over to touch what she thought was a real possum, and you'll see the staff just lining up, and then he reveals that it was that it was just a puppet. Now, the thing is that Mark goes on to say that he's brought hundreds and hundreds of these into his homeware store, where they sell all sorts of things, from recliner chairs to lounges to, flowers to wall hangings to things like this, little cute possums like that. And he said this thing has just gone nuts. He buys them for around about $30 and sells them for double that. And he was saying to me that, by doing that in store, by actually cuddling it like that rather than just hanging on a rack, you'll see he just put his fingers there, zero. He said if he hung them on a rack, he'd sell zero of them. But by doing what he's just about to do now, have a look what he does. Puts it on, curls the little tail around, and there you go. He said as he has staff doing that in store, these things just walk out at $59. Absolutely just walk out at $59 because they're so cute. You see his fingers actually moving that little possum's arm there. And everyone that was walking past, I think you'll see in just a moment, I interview him here, but in just a moment you'll see there's a bunch of people walking past. Like, he had one guy walk up to him and pat it and walked away and still thought that it was real. Still thought that it was real. I think you'll see a bunch of women walking past in just a moment. I think if I just, there you go. Talk about a chick magnet. I said to him, goodness me, if you were single, you'd carry that around with you all the time. Now, I wanted to tell you what we did with that. I said to him, okay, well, that's fine to be boasting about selling a whole bunch of those in store by sampling them, by, cuddling them up and make them look like a real possum. I'll give you a game changer idea. And he said, what's that? I said, look, you're selling recliner chairs, lounge suites, you're selling wall hangings and paintings, and it's like a Better Homes and Garden store, okay? And it's called Wallows, and it's in Adelaide, okay? They've got 3 stores. I said, mate, I'll help you sell lounge suites. I'll help you sell anything else in the store because of that possum. He said, what do you mean? I said, let me turn that into a wow factor like you wouldn't believe. What you should do, would you be willing to give up 10% of your sale price if we could double or triple your business? And of course, Mark said yes. He's heard that from me time and time again. I said, good. Okay, well, what we'll do is that we'll actually say to people, for every, keep in mind, he buys these little possums, okay, the little puppets, for $30, near enough. I said, well, if you're willing to give away 10% to double or triple your trade, how about we do this? For every $300 that anyone spends in your store, they actually get a free little possum. They get this free little toy, okay? And he went, oh my God, of course. I said, yeah. I said, so stop selling them. Don't dare sell them, because that'd be like McDonald's having a Happy Meal toy in the box, but then being able to buy at McDonald's the $2 Happy Meal toy by itself. Everyone would just buy the toy by itself. But if the only way you can get this gorgeous little possum, which you continue to showcase like he was yesterday, then the only way to do that is to spend $300 in your store on a lounge suite or on any one of the homewares goods that he sells. Then guess what? They're going to do that, because this thing is knockout. It's a wow factor like crazy. It just stops people in the street. Can you imagine coming on Facebook and doing a video similar to what you've just seen then and say, look, come into our furniture store, for every $300 you spend, you get one of these little, give it a name, Pete the Possum or whatever it might be, and give them an adoption certificate. Okay, so take a leaf out of the Cabbage Patch principle, give them an adoption certificate. I've done all this before, by the way, that's why it just rolls off my tongue, a number of times. And if you were to link teddy bears and to link, cute little things like this to purchase requirements, you just watch what happens, okay? It's called pest to power, and children cannot leave their parents alone by just pestering them, say, I want that, I want that, I want that. Mum and dad goes, look, we've got to buy a recliner chair from somewhere. We might as well buy it from here because we get one of these things. Now, the thing is that it's for every $300. So guess what? If he's paying $30 to bring these things in from overseas, and you spend $300 and you get one, well, of course, it's equivalent to a 10% discount. But what do you think would be more potent? Giving away this cute little Pete the Possum as a pet with an adoption certificate, which will cost you exactly the same as 10% of $300, $30, or do you think maybe putting a sign outside the furniture store saying, 10% off this weekend? I know which is going to work, and which is going to work like 100 times better. I said to him too that he might like to dress the staff up for the month that he might run this, and I'm suggesting they run it for a month, and it's Adopt a Possum month, for example, that blah, 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 furniture store, that he would have the staff dressed up in khaki and zoology sort of outfits, okay? So therefore very much the Steve Irwin Australian Zoo look. It'll go nuts. These stores are in Adelaide, and Mark, I think, is leaving to go back to Adelaide on the weekend. And I said to him, mate, stop selling these things, okay? Stop selling them and make them a value add Happy Meal toy, and just watch what happens to your business. If you would like to access this sort of weird thinking, which is a bit outside the square, taking something that's already popular as like what Mark was saying to me, he's a great promoter, by the way. This guy has taken a lot of stuff out of my portfolio of ideas, and he executes them, so I love him as a client. But he was understandably showing off about the fact that he's learnt sampling from me, and this was the ultimate sampling. And we demonstrated on the spot, the crowd that it attracted, and he was saying, look, how good is that? And I'm just saying I took it to another level. I'm showing off, let me pat myself on the back, but I took it to another level as usual and said, mate, you've got yourself a winner here, but don't sell these things. Use them as a value add giveaway for stimulating sales of higher priced items where you'll make a lot more money. Anyway, if you'd like to access this sort of thinking, by the way, pitch alert coming, and if you'd like to have this sort of thinking for your business from the likes of me, then you might like to click the link above or below here, which is jdprivateconsult.com, and you'll see how I can become your quasi-marketing manager for your business. This is the sort of stuff that we do all the time, and we take stuff that's good and turn it into spectacular. He says very humbly. Humility is not a great asset of mine, I'm afraid. I'm a show-off. But you won't get this sort of thinking in too many places around the world, I'm telling you. So if you'd like me to look after your businesses this sort of way and give you these sorts of wow factor ideas and put together a marketing plan for your business and map out what you should be doing online and offline, all that sort of stuff, go to jdprivateconsult.com, and the link's above or below me or beside me, and click on there. You can see what we've got to offer. Okay, all the best. Have a great one.